Ireland, which I guess could best be described as sort of a western shore. It's middle western, so it's not in the middle of the country. I don't mean that. It's on the middle, but on the coast. As the coast goes around, it's sort of in the middle on the western shore, the western coast. And they got little beaches around here, not too shabby. Rocks, like little jetties that have been built. This particular one is sandy, you can see. Sandy beach. Goes out. You can see all the little jetties. It was just up there. Let me show you this. I don't know what that was, but it was a foundation. It was an old foundation for something. There was a structure that had been built there at some time. And so, nice day at the beach, great weather. Not going in the water because I'm sure it's pretty cold. Feels good to be at the beach. Like this little beach town I'm at now. It's called Salt Hill. So I'm going to explore around Salt Hill a little bit. I started here at the beach. Let's go take a look. So I was going to walk along this beach, but there's no way I'm going to walk down that, into that, to come out on that sandy beach. I have to climb down the rocks. I'm going to do it. Unless you don't mind walking through all that algae, seaweed. This area right here, more so than anywhere else. So you got the sand over there, and you come right across and you got a bunch of seaweed and sandy over here. So those islands over there. They're pretty big. Somehow, I know you can get out there. Salt Hill, and I gotta tell you, it feels good. It feels good to be walking on the shore, walking on the coast, seeing the ocean. I don't think I've seen the ocean since I was in Spain in March, and the weather then, it was pretty much like the weather now. It's probably about 75 degrees right now. Feels great. There's one thing I like about traveling is you literally just go wherever the fuck you want to go. So if you're going to go somewhere, places that have some sort of interest for you. You just want to investigate and see what's there. Or because you've looked and you know.
Very big student farm. What is this?
I had no idea what I was going to find in Galway. I looked at a map. I knew it was by the ocean. I had no idea what it was going to be like once I got here, so you get here and you find out. And you either like the place or you don't. And I do. It's nice. So I'm probably going to get something to eat here pretty soon. I'll check out the town a little bit. I wanted to come to check out the beach. One of the girls I was talking to at the hostel had been here, and she was telling me about it, so it sounded cool to me. So anyway, so when you travel, you can just go anywhere the fuck you want to go. And there's really very few limits. I mean, there's limits like, you know, immigration limits and time frames and that sort of thing. So like in mainland Europe, there are certain EU countries, I think there's 27 EU countries that are part of what's called the Schengen area. So if you're in the Schengen area, you can be there for 90 days and you can cross from one country to the next without going through customs or any of that. But after 90 days, you have to leave. You have to go out of the Schengen area and find another country where you can go that's not part of that agreement. So fortunately, the UK and Ireland are part of the Schengen area. Interestingly enough, though, Ireland is part of the EU. And in Ireland, they use the euro, whereas where I just came from in England, they use the British pound. So mainland Europe, most countries are using the euro, and Ireland uses the euro, but I'm not sure about Northern Ireland. I don't know if Northern Ireland uses the euro or if it uses the British pound or both or what. We'll find out. This is a really cool little town. It's touristy in a lot of ways, but there are some historic sites to see that I'm going to check out while I'm here for the next 6 days. And let me show you this.
eventually struck this country in October of 1845. In that huge virus or fungus attack, it was called a blight. So here you had, guys, the onset of winter. All his food had gone rotten on the ground, so famine started very, very quickly in Ireland. People began to die in their homes, they died out in the fields. Thousands of people died along the sides of the roads with nobody to bury them. People were out in the fields eating the grass to try and stay. At the same time, these English landlords were exporting thousands of tons of corn over to England, exporting thousands of cattle and sheep and pigs, and they refused to help the starving Irish. But some landlords decided we will help the Irish, but they have to give us something back in return. So the men people built these walls you see up on these hills 8 to 10 hours a day. And at the end of the day they'll give them hundreds of thousands of Irish people would walk hundreds of miles. People dying of starvation, malnutrition and disease to board these ships to try and make a better life for themselves in America or Canada. But these people were suffering from hunger and disease, and there were thousands of them were buried crossing the Atlantic Ocean, and they became known as coffin ships. And it's a special memorial to them. There's no dogs, no farming. So huge quantities of these Irish people migrated out to the midwestern parts of the United States to go farming. And there's still huge Irish communities living out in the Midwest today. Same way in Toronto, where these Irish settled in an area of cabbage and they gave off that distinctive aroma. So it was known as Cabbage Town. Same way in Quebec, when these big sailing ships arrived into Quebec, these Irish were put into quarantine on an island off Quebec called Big Island. And they were mass graves.
The Aran, I think that's how you say it, Aran Islands is 3. This is the first one. The other 2 are off in that direction. Nice sandy little beach here. This is the protected side of the island. The other one faces more of the open ocean. Pretty calm, at least today. Great weather. About 75 degrees here. Feels fucking perfect.
hop in here. Because otherwise you'll be getting the wooden spoon and the arse off your mother. Because she'd have to buy like €300 worth of new books. So yeah, the fairly confident one will fall into the wood. So if you get one, the leading service can go between 4 and 700 points. If you get 1 point, which would be great for you. Your knowledge of the railroad.
Let me know if you can read that. Bend low going through there.
is made up of limestone. And the limestone was underneath all this debris and sandstone. As the cliffs break away, of course, very strange lines running through the berm. Each line gashed in the rock, running back. This is a safeguard mechanism because there's no nest holding eggs inside. Down north as Control. The feed deck, coming up on our right hand side, was formed very, very long. While the shadow from Cliffs of Moher